Happy New Year, every single body in Christian hip hop land. It's the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray. And I got the very first CHH today in 2019. And guys, I just want to talk about a few things that I just saw last week. And I want your opinion, the people, about this situation. Let me know what you think, man. Please comment below. But we're going to get it started with Chris Chicago. Chris Chicago put out a tweet a week ago. He said these CHH artists are poised to blow up in 2019. He mentioned John Keith, Parris Charriz, Wande, Beacon Light, J Monty. And then it was a Twitter person. He was just saying that, hey, Parris, John are already famous. Wande is being prepped to blow up currently. Then he was just like, hey, just stating different things. Chris Chicago said it's not about being known or famous. It's breaking into the next tier where you are charting, touring, getting radio play, and making a nice living as an artist. And then, somebody else said, hey, I agree. And I even chimed in. I said, I agree with the definition. It could sound like, it could be a little misconstrued the way you put it out there at first. And then, a guy agreed with me. And then Durag P came up. Parris Charriz, he says, first of all, none of the people named has blown up at all. Ain't none of doing sold out venues by ourselves. None of us are getting crazy streams where we are just financially stable in a way we want to be. The things we have accomplished aren't taken for granted, but we're still growing. And then Durag P came again, and he said, so the notion that we've already blown is ridiculous. I'm still in a place where I can only pay rent and do the essentials with the money I make off music. God has blessed me, but it's nowhere near where I want to be. Y'all need to change y'all perspective. The artist he named. And then Rockstar JT said, it's coming though, bro, where you'll be financially stable. I love you, dog. This is just the beginning. CHH does have people heads gas, but it's a reality. But it'll be realistic pretty soon. And I just want to chime in on a few things. Chris Chicago is a personality in Christian hip hop, has his own radio show, and he has a gauge about the different artists that he thinks that are going to blow up, and so, which I think these 5 artists that he named, I agree with the second terminology that he says as far as charting, touring, getting radio play, and making a nice living as an artist. Charting, I don't know. Touring, I think that a few of these artists can tour, and getting radio play. But then those different things right there, I think these artists are good, but I don't think these artists have radio quality singles that can cross over to the mainstream. And then if you talk about radio, where exactly are you going to be played at? Because there is not a market in Christian hip hop where you can be plugged in and be played into the major radio stations, unless a few of these artists are locally known and they have a big enough market where it can cross over from a big market into the smaller markets within the region. But I say all this to say that Parris Charriz is right as far as, a lot of these artists, they could pay rent and that's it. They could make a decent living, but it's not nothing that can sustain them in the long term. But I also do think that we have the artists that are capable of competing with the mainstream. I just think that that these artists are like hovering above, like, okay, here's what's mainstream and here's the step below, or here's like, okay, here's the mainstream sound and here's what we sounding like. So I think that I hear Durag P and I understand where he's coming from, but for me it simply means that, hey, there is another level to this, and I'm gonna ask this question. I need you guys to answer this for me. Do you think that these artists can just live off of Christian hip hop alone? Meaning that they cater to a Christian hip hop base. They do shows at churches or youth groups or other Christian festivals, and they can make a sizable living where they don't have to work a 9 to 5, or they don't have to like do crazy things in order to make ends meet, to do something they love. Please comment below, man. I thought this was very interesting, man. I need your opinion. Do you think that Chris Chicago is right about these 5 artists that's going to blow? Jay Montees, I mean, he's been out forever, so when is he going to blow? And I'm not saying nothing about his talent. He's a very talented individual, but you can't say he's up next, and he's been up next for 5 or 6 years from now, since 2014, I believe, when I first saw him. So please go to my channel, my website, luckymurray.com. That's LUCKYMURRAY to find out more information. And again, it has been the entertainer, the motivator, the educator, Lucky Murray, and this is the first 2019 edition of CHH Today. And guys, I got some great things happening next week or this year. Till next time, people.